Hello everyone, and welcome back to another playthrough by none other than me, DJ. This time I have something only a little less scary than my last playthrough. Welcome to Kenshi, a post-apocalyptic survival game where, like in Project Zomboid, your character is nothing special at the start. This is the story of Chaff, and as I said in the preview, Chaff is a skeleton being a fully mechanical being. For this run, there are a few rules that I will go through as I hit random until I get something I can vibe with. For this run, it's a vanilla plus game with only a few quality of life mods. It should be mostly the base game. I have not added anything overtly wild, just different lines from NPC and UI upgrades. The rules are thus: anything outside of the bare essentials can only be used from an opponent my character or characters have defeated in combat. That means anything with the exception of medical supplies, food, and the supplies to build a base if we get that far. There are no guarantees, and trying to get this run off the ground I went through a few characters previously, but I really wanted to start raising combat as soon as possible. And this episode is a course of violence. We're starting off in the base difficulty as Wanderer, and to hedge my bets in this challenge I had to go Skeleton. I will be using exploits in this run, but only to get where I need to be in order to make the run a success. And after checking the bar in the hub for anything to steal, our first destination is Squin. Now, I'm not going to be able to steal anything that is not deemed essential. Food is not essential to my character, but it will be when we pick up Beep, which is probably where we'll head a bit later down the road. For now though, I'm just going to make my way to Squin and steal a chew stick for a bit, just to about level 20 Thievery. That should let us get the medical supplies we need for the next stage of my plan. See, since I have to defeat opponents in order to get supplies, I need to at least reach the ability to kill a bandit on my own. If I can't even do that, then this run becomes a lot harder at the start. So with the 20 Thievery, we should be able to snag what we need for the first phase of training. My biggest worry is dying, as you might imagine, so why not train our toughness? And maybe we will pick up some other combat skills. Squin itself is a very handy town at the start of the game. It has less than some towns, but if it's essential you can be sure to find it here. Even some cheaper skeleton repair kits, though after this we'll likely rely on hiver villages and way stations in the future. Since I can't even afford the cheaper kits with the meager 1,000 cats we have, I can't always just steal them. I'll spend some time checking the unlocked containers in hopes that the store owner is an idiot, but I should have known they would be locked up in a chest. At least we get to practice lockpicking while we wait. I do want to make a quick note here as to why I'm taking my time. Normally, if I was stealing from someone in Squin, I probably wouldn't stress out so much. But this tower in particular is ran by the tech hunters, and this early on I can't really afford to piss them off. We'll be using their services far too much in the near future. And we don't have to wait terribly long before we find what we need and head out. Say later to Squin. I'm sure we'll be back eventually, even if it is when we start turning in bounties. So we need to train toughness, and what better place is there for that than Vane? The hivers there will be quite friendly and the fauna is wonderful to practice on. But we do need to be careful. Even if we're a skeleton with 200 in each limb, the things in this area are incredibly lethal, and we're going to need the help of the Hive Village to train. We can take a few direct blows from beak things, and with our repair kits, we can survive. The gorillas are also dangerous, but at least they can't run at 40 miles per hour. Why don't we begin? Now, I am going to be taking hides from some of the corpses here. I'm not doing it from all of them or even most of them, mind you. Only from the ones where Chaff's attack was the one to KO the enemy. And I was able to land a few, which afforded me more repair kits. I tried to see if I could possibly swipe any, but there were too many eyes in the room, and we're not here for stealth training. So it was well that I was able to land a few mighty blows that incapacitated a few foes. Though with all things in this challenge, patience is key, and we have to know when to juke and dodge. But realistically, we're only here to make sure that a random lone bandit can't just flat end us. So with this method, we always wait for backup when antagonizing the wildlife. Things are about to start getting messy, and we're risking a lot, but if we stay calm and collected, we should be fine. And hey, as we continue training, a beak thing made its way into the Hive Village. And what timing. We've hardly been here for a day. I'm wanting to get some more practice in, but always we wait for backup. Doesn't matter if it's just one or a whole pack of them. After a good day's worth of training, we come to day 2, and already the beak things are ornery. The hivers are making small talk in the workshop, and we're gonna get a bit banged up. But it's nothing that Chaff can't handle. So back to it we go. Lots of close calls on day 2, though by the end it should be overall productive. Each time we soak a hit we get a little bit tougher, and we're going to need all the toughness we can get before we head back to a less risky venture. So on day 2 we're just going to focus on getting as much combat experience as possible. Luckily a swarm of beak things are on their way. The town will lose a lot of guards here, but hey, they protected their town. So as long as I can get what I need, that's good enough for me. By the end we likely won't be coming back here anytime soon anyway. Now, it would be ideal for us to use the skeleton repair bed in this village, but we can't really afford it. The multiplier does still apply when a skeleton lays down in a regular bed though. It just takes a rather long time because skeletons have more HP than basically any other race. The damage to the arms and legs is fine in my opinion, and it's nothing life-threatening, but I still wanted to shore up a bit of the damage to the head and chest, and a little bit of the limbs. If a beak thing got a lucky blow on us, it could drop us, and since we've been exploiting the hivers, it's fair to say that they would likely leave us in the street. There's something to be said for the risks we are taking. Thankfully, I think the reputation for beak things involving the Western Hive have started to shift. And yeah, the beak things do have their own faction. It's called the Gutters. There are some recruits that we will likely pick up that may talk about them in some of the mid to in-game zones, but the Gutters didn't mind the Hivers before we showed up. Luckily, the Hive is on board with me luring them to their death at this point. I'm not gonna complain. And hey, there's a moment where we were able to land a decisive blow on one of them. By the rules, that's 6 hides in my pocket. I don't want to overburden myself while I'm out here, so I'm going to loot one hide to kill it, and then drop the rest for the moment. Gotta make sure the coast is clear when we sell them, and I don't trust the bodies in the water. On day 3, we started off with a little strength training, just to 5 so we can carry a reasonable amount of supplies. Safe to say, the beak things were displeased, and I think I might have accidentally started a small war between the beak things and hivers in this area. Either that or the corpses keep attracting more. I mean, we have seen them seemingly eating one another. What do you think is happening? Feel free to comment your ideas below. I'm truly interested. This will be the last day of training here, so we just gotta make sure to be careful and productive, and by the end of it we'll be a lot tougher. Bandits should not be able to just flat end us. Just to show you how careful you have to be, here's a short snippet where the run nearly ended. I'm just glad I was able to patch up in time because honestly, that was way too dang close. And there we go. After a few more fights we get a second one. 5 damage on the bottom with a kick. That brings us to a total of 12 heights. Not too shabby for cats in the first few days, and it affords us a few more repair kits. Day 3 was by far the bloodiest between Beak Things and the Hivers. I would say the Hivers came out on top, but if we're being honest, the only real winner in this scenario is Chaff. I'm sure things will be fine here, and if nothing else in the future we could use this spot to farm hides later on down the line. At the end we got 22 toughness out of it, which is acceptable to start the martial arts training. Though we can't really do that here, and anyway, with the skills we did pick up by punching Beak Things, if we're able to isolate a bandit or two, that would be ideal. So we're gonna wrap things up here and head back to the border zone. While we're running through the border zone, I do happen to run into a couple of raiders, but it's not a problem. We'll just make our way to Squin. I was thinking maybe I could capture one, but that was futile. I'll just take the free combat experience and maybe if I'm lucky some stuff to loot. And if I don't defeat anyone, that's fine too. I can always find a skill to raise. Dang, the guards got them all. Regardless, there is something we can do here that'll help us in the future. I'm just going to sit upstairs in the bar and, through the night, raise some lockpicking. We'll eventually need it. There is one other fight in this episode, but we're getting close to the end of the video, so we're going to head back to the hub first. My original idea was to possibly pick up someone to help me with the actual training, possibly squat in the ninja tower there. But on the way we did run into a group that doesn't have our best interests at heart. Luckily for us, the hub might not be the most secure town, but we do have some strong people here that don't take kindly to bandits. Most of them left us be, but they won't get away. We will need the help of the guards to deal with them. I need all the experience I can get, and I managed to snag one for a little one-on-one training after a few bandages. A nosy guard does interrupt the fight, but the bandit was far enough out of town that the guard will end up setting him back down. So after picking him up and relocating him, we should be able to get our first chance to get some gear. And where I was really hoping I could get some equipment quick, the Bandit does best me in combat. But dang, it would be really nice to have a saber. But that's about all the time I have for this video. Robots don't sleep, so I'm just gonna practice on this guy for now. He does get away in the end, but that's alright. Just another encounter under our belt. After the thrilling combat, that's where we'll end the first episode. We made it to day 4. We've started martial arts training, and just to where we can take a punch. The run is going well, and I think with a few more squad mates we could continue to do some things that would net us some pretty decent gear. But that's for future Chaff to worry about. For now, the safety of the hub will do. This video took so long to make. I really wanted to present the game well. It can be a little jank at times, but this game is amazing, and I would genuinely like to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like? Subscribing is always cool too. And what do you think about Kenshi? Leave it in the comments down below. But as always, I'll see you in the next one, and keep it real.